Hello guys, I'm 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞, and in this video I will show you top 10 best Isekai animes where the main character is overpowered. And by the way, you should stay until the end because I'm going to show you very good animes that you definitely don't want to miss. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Cautious Hero. In this world, the gods are responsible for summoning people from Earth to save countless worlds, threatened by demons. Histart, a novice goddess of healing, is tasked with saving 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞, a world with a S-ranked salvation difficulty. So she starts to search for a human with good stats that he can summon. And after searching for a long time, she summons the strongest hero candidate she can find, 𝐦𝐨𝐫, in the hopes that his talents can overcome even this impossible dangerous challenge. After being summoned to save 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 from destruction, 𝐦𝐨𝐫 prepares himself for his noble journey. He spends a very long time training himself, despite already having overpowered stats. He fights weak enemies using his strongest skills and buys excessive amounts of supplies and potions, all to be perfectly prepared. Despite his quirks, his careful methods may be the key to overcoming the powerful enemies that await him. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. This anime begins with the main character in the middle of a casual encounter with his colleague. He is the victim of a random aggressor in the streets, and is stabbed while protecting his colleague. As he succumbs to his injuries, a strange and peculiar voice echoes in his mind, and recites a lot of commands. When he realizes, he finds that he was reincarnated as a slime. And, as someone who is reincarnated, he gains the skills Predator and Great Sage. As he walks around, he encounters the catastrophe level sealed monster, Storm Dragon Veldora, who has been sealed for the past 300 years, for devastating a city to the ashes. Sympathetic with his situation, the main character befriends him, promising to help destroy the seal. In return, Veldora grants him the name of Rimuru Tempest, to grant him divine protection. Meanwhile, Rimuru begins his adventure by traveling, meeting new people, fighting some of them and turning them into allies when fighting them. Aesthetica of a rogue hero. This show is less well known, but it's also excellent. 𝐴𝐾𝐡 returns to Earth from another world after defeating the demon king Garius. He brings along a pink-haired girl, Miu, Garius' daughter, whom he entrusts to 𝐴𝐾𝐡 with his dying breath. They are forced to attend Japan branch of Babel, a high school for teens returning from other worlds and their special powers. 𝐴𝐾𝐡 passes Miu off as his sister, and they go through the difficulties of adapting back to Earth life while threats and dark menacing organizations from Earth and other worlds chase his steps. The next show on this list probably has one of the most overpowered characters here, but just before I show you, give me a minute. Are you enjoying the video? Do you want to see more videos just like this one? Then subscribe so you don't lose when I post the next ones, and also smash that like button, so YouTube knows you like this type of content. I will be bringing more awesome anime related videos, and I bet you don't want to miss them. Thank you. Wise Man's Grandchild. Before reincarnating to this fantasy world, Shin was a hard-working employee, back in his original world, until he got hit by a truck. Reincarnating as a baby in the fantasy world, Shin's real family in said world were murdered by some monsters during their travel in the forest. Fortunately, Shin was adopted by an old wanderer, who reveals himself to be Merlin, one of the living legends from the kingdom, who defeated a powerful demon. He learns all kinds of powerful magic from his grandfather, and seemingly masters some pretty powerful spells by himself, to the point he even surpasses his grandfather. However, there are two things that Merlin forgot to teach: common sense and social skills. Overlord. The story begins on the last day of a once popular VR MMORPG. One of the game's dedicated guildmasters, a salaryman known as 𝐴𝐴𝐿, decides to remain logged in until servers are shut down. However, instead of being logged out at scheduled time, 𝐴𝐴𝐿 finds himself stuck in the body of his in-game avatar, a skeletal lich who serves as the evil overlords of a tomb of monsters. Before long, NPCs start to come to life and display their own personalities as well. Faced with this abnormal situation, he commands his loyal servants to help him investigate and take control of these new worlds, with the hope of finding out what caused this development and whether there may be others in the same situation. This anime is one of the best in the genre in my opinion, and the main character is absolutely overpowered. If you didn't watch it, I totally recommend you. From commonplace to world's strongest. In this anime, a Japanese high school class was transported to another world, where they are soon informed that they have been summoned to be heroes and save them from a demonic attack. Each student is given overpowered stats and incredibly useful jobs, except for 𝐻𝐵𝐵, the main character. He not only obtains mediocre statistics, but also the equally mediocre skill of Synergist, which allows him to transmute anything. During one live training in the dungeon, he was betrayed by one of his classmates, who sent him into the abyss. Barely surviving the fall, the main character then struggled to survive even greater dangers in the depths of the dungeon, almost losing his sanity with thoughts of revenge, until he met you, a powerful vampire who has been sealed for centuries. United by similar experiences, 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 and you together escape the dungeon and face the world again. Sword Art Online. In the year 2022, virtual reality progressed by a lot, and a huge MMORPG called Sword Art Online was launched. With the help of gear technology, players can control their own avatars within the game, using only their own thoughts. 𝐸𝐿 is among the few Look enthusiasts who got their hand on the first shipment of the game. He connects to meet with 10,000 other people in the elaborate world of 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐻, a world full of fantastic medieval weapons and horrible monsters. However, in a cruel turn of events, players soon realize that they cannot log out. The game's creator has trapped them in this new world until they complete all 100 levels of the game. And, to make matters worse, if they die in this world, they die in real life. In the face of all this, 𝐸𝐿 must adapt to his new reality, fight for his survival and, with luck, free himself from his virtual hell. How not to summon a Demon Lord? The MMORPG Cross Rivalry had one player who was stronger than everyone else, earning him the nickname of Diablo, the Demon Lord. Possessing the game's highest artifacts and an unrivaled player level, he overpowers all foolish enough to confront him.
俺のレベルは150だ。エクシクローズ！
Despite his fearsome reputation, Diablo's true identity is Takuma Sakamura, a boy with no social skills at all. One day, he gets sucked into another world, but with his appearance as Diablo, instead of his normal form. There, the two girls who summoned him cast a spell on him to enslave him. Whatever, Diablo has a skill from Cross Rivalry that reflects the magic back onto the girls, enslaving them to his will instead. Stuck in this world, Diablo has no choice but to go on adventure with his newfound companions. And to make things even better, a second season has been announced for April. By the way, would you like to see anime news and announcements here on the channel? Tell me down below in the comments if you would like to. And now, before moving on to the last show of this list, let me just remind you to subscribe, like the video and share it with your friends, so that I can continue to bring these amazing videos to you. It really helps me a lot, so thank you very much. Jobless reincarnation. Otaku missed his parents' funeral, having refused to leave his room for years. His brothers beat him for his sins and throw him on the street, leaving him in misery and without prospects. Pondering his many failures as a person and wishing for a second chance, the man witnessed three teenagers about to be hit by a truck. He successfully saves them, but is killed by the truck. But in a twist of fate, he awakens in another world, as Rudeo's Grey Rat, starting life again as a baby born to two loving parents. Preserving his memories and knowledge from his previous life, Rudeus quickly adapts to his new environment. With the mind of a grown adult, he starts to display magic talent that exceeds all expectations, honing his skills with the help of a mage named Roxy. He learns swordplay from his father, and meets a girl his age who quickly becomes his best friend. His anime is currently airing, and I already consider it one of the best Isekai animes, with an overpowered main character. So you definitely should watch it, but just before you do that, I have good news for you. If you enjoyed this video, here you have two other amazing videos that you should definitely watch. And that's it for me guys. If you have any suggestions, please tell me down below in the comments. I hope you have a great day. Bye.